Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new Forex market trading lesson. Today we are going to learn about a different way to draw support and resistance or plot support and resistance levels on our charts. And we are going to go in depth on pivot levels as well, but we are only going to focus on one pivot level, the single most important pivot level. I have the traditional way of drawing support and resistance on my screen where we have the resistance 1 already in place, the resistance 2 in place, as well as the support 1 and support 2. With the traditional level, we only focus on market turning points, previous market turning points. We can go as far back as in time, depending on where the turning points occurred on the traditional support and resistance levels. And as you already know, the turning points are too many and they are random as well. So for today's lesson, we are going to look at a very simple way to draw support and resistance levels based on price and time, with the focus on time. That is the period, the most previous period where the market turned. So we are only going to focus on the highs and lows. Also, when we get to the pivot levels, we are going to focus on the midpoints. We will bypass the traditional support and resistance, as I guess most of us already have an idea on what it is. So for the support and resistance levels based on price and time, we have our first example as the previous high and low of the year as support and resistance, where the highest point of the most previous year is acting as resistance, where the lowest price of the most previous year is also acting as support. With this example, it is mainly secured for long-term traders, but for short-term to medium-term traders, are focused on the previous period where we can plot our support and resistance based on maybe months, weeks, and days. I have examples for the weeks and for the days as well. So moving on to what we have on our screen next is a previous high and low of the week as support and resistance for the AUD NZD chart. So we have the highest point of the week for the AUD NZD and the lowest point for the week of the AUD NZD. Currently, the price has broken the lowest point of the previous week. That is the most previous week. Pay attention to the most previous week. So with this example, we can clearly say that the AUD NZD has broken the support level. That is one way to trade the previous high and low of a specific period, breakouts or respecting. But we will be looking at the breakout examples for this video. On the next slide, we have the previous high and low of the day as support and resistance. And over here, we have the British pound and the Australian dollar per chart. So the previous high of the GBP AUD had broken. So for this example, it is clearly safe to say that the resistance for the GBP AUD has broken. As you can see, this is a very simple way of plotting support and resistance levels. But the downside to it is that there are false breakouts all over the market as always, and there are very little ways that we can avoid them. Our next focus is on the pivot levels, where we focus on the midpoint of the previous period, being it the previous year, the previous month, the previous week, or the previous day. So for the example that we have on the screen right now, we have the Euro NZD daily pivot level. So we captured the high and low of the previous day and then used the Fibonacci tool to get to the midpoint, which is the 50% Fibonacci level that we already have on our screen. Currently, the Euro NZD respected the pivot level, aka the 50% Fibonacci level, to move downwards. So this is sort of like a retracement to the midpoint of the previous period, where the previous period in this example is the previous day. Moving on to a final and very last example, the weekly pivot level on the CAD JPY. So we captured the previous high of the week and the previous low of the week on the CAD JPY. Then we took our Fibonacci tool to get the 50% level of the Fibonacci. So currently the CAD JPY has also respected the pivot level, that is the weekly pivot level or the 50% Fibonacci level. So as you can already see, those are very simple and easy ways you can use to plot your support and resistance levels. Plotting support and resistance levels need not be a problem only if you know about how to plot it based on price and time. In the description below, I've left links to my post on this very same video where you can see more examples and find examples from the MetaTrader 4 as well. See you in another trading lesson video. Don't forget that bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered.